Last Minute Man, coming to you from the man cave with my good buddy Mr. Obvious. And Mr. Obvious, what are we talking about today?
Oh man, we got one that goes back to 1916.
Actually, it goes back to 1898. This particular one is a 1916.
Yeah.
And this is, my grandfather brought it back from the war, the big World War II. Okay. And that is a German Lugar in caliber 9mm. And we're going to take this sucker out and shoot her today. I've shown this in a previous video, and it is unloaded. But showed it in a previous video, and I promised to get it out and shoot it. So what better day to do it than the 4th of July?
Yeah.
And get it out for our 4th of July video and a German gun. So here is this pistol. My grandfather did bring it back from World War II. And like I said, I did show this in a previous video. We're going to give you a quick rundown of it and a quick look-see at it. And then we'll go out and shoot. But 1916 was the year this particular one was made. You can see that there. And as I stated, my grandfather did bring this back from World War II. It was surrendered to him from an officer. That was the story I was always told about it. That's what Grandpa always said. And he's got the Mauser and the Luger, and all numbers match on this. So 534, this tells you the factory it came out of right there. And you can see 34 stamped on top, and 534 is the number on the side. Okay, and so 3434, like they numbered everything on this, even the magazine. This one's war at the bottom. You can't read it, but I'll show you on the other magazine, the one that always stayed in the holster. You can see if the lighting's just right, you can see a 534 there. And this one even has the loading tool with it, which I think is pretty neat. And they use this. Guys apparently had a tough time loading these, so you would stick this on the mag, pull it down, and load your rounds. In the magazine, these are a single stack mag. They are still heavy to this day, and it's just pretty cool. But Grandpa actually owned a bar at one time, and I can tell this story. But he owned a bar, and he actually kept this behind the bar. So this is the safety on. You can see the sear disconnect is on the side here, and that's safety on, safety off, and you can see how it will fire. That'll move, and that will disconnect the sear, and it'll go off there. But yeah, Grandpa actually kept this behind the bar. He carried it for defense. He really liked this gun, and I heard tell that he could shoot it very, very well. Now, Mr. Obvious, your father fought in World War II, and I know he shot this particular gun with my grandfather.
Yeah, he probably had one in his day too, but he didn't bring his back or anything. So
well, this was this was the German issued firearm, but I do know that he had shot this with my grandfather. They were pretty close. They both served in the war together.
He used a Thompson 45 too.
Overseas,
overseas is what he used for what he done, and they offered to let him bring his back, but he chose not to. But they said they'll weld the barrel up on it, and he can bring it back. And he said, "You're gonna do that? I've got no use for it," so he didn't bring it.
Well, and they told GIs different things. I had guys kind of tell me this, that, or the other. I don't know. All I can tell you is what I know firsthand from people that were there. And Grandpa did not bring back his service weapons. It had a lot to do with just his company. And of course, he was under George Patton. Yeah. But just for whatever reason, he thought he had to sneak these back. Yeah. He didn't necessarily tell anyone about it. He just kind of threw them in his bag and rolled them up, and here we go. But yeah, his 1911 and his Grand, he did not get to keep. So, to the best of my knowledge, he really liked the M1 Grand, but was not too much of a fan of the 1911, which is kind of funny because I'm a huge fan of the 1911. But let's quit jabbering about this. Let's get out and shoot it.
Yeah, that'd be.
All right, so I'm going to show you how one would load this thing. Now, the spring has gotten a little weaker over time, I assume they must have been pretty heavy to have a tool with them. But we're going to load this up just one at a time here. And I'm going to let Mr. Obvious have first dibs on the shooting. But pretty simple to reload.
I was going to ask you, is them mags available for that? Can you still get them? Or?
Yes, you can, but I don't know how well they work. So to answer your question, Mr. Obvious, yes, you can get these magazines aftermarket. I've not heard good things about them. And you can see those were actually fitted directly to the pistol. You know, that's why they're serialized. But yeah, a buddy of mine in the Army had a refurbished German Lugar, and his never did fire correctly.
Yeah, that looks like that's wood.
It is wood.
Is it?
Yeah, that's wood.
Well,
it absolutely is wood.
I'll be dang.
Yep. So go ahead, load her up there, Mr. Obvious, and take a few shots.
All right.
And tell us what you think about it.
See what we think about this.
And it's got that toggle lock system, or what our grandparents called the the grasshopper action.
Grasshopper action?
But toggle lock. All right, go ahead, fire when ready. Safety's on.
Is that fire?
Safety's off. Yep, there you go. Woohoo! Shoots right in the air there. All right, she's empty. All right, look at that. All right, now I'll load up another 6. Let's talk about it here. Go ahead and just switch hands. Movie magic. Look at the smooth transition.
Smooth transition.
Just amazing production quality we bring you here at Last Minute Man. But all right, Mr. Obvious. So tell me what you think about it. What's your initial impressions?
So the trigger is spongy, but it's neat. It's got like a creep to it. Then once it comes all the way back, it's just gone. So it don't have a really bad trigger. Kind of like it, but it's a handful. That gun is. It's bulky, but it's as you can see, at least I hit that steel plate every time.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to show some things that I like about it. But first, let me just go ahead and shoot it. And I've shot it a few more times than Mr. Obvious. Like I said, we don't get this out much. Go ahead and get from the side, if you would, Mr. Obvious, so people can see that toggle lock working. All right. Here we go. Let's see if I can actually hit anything with it. It's hard to look through these sights, I'm telling you. Well, there we go. Woohoo! And again, able to hit the target every time, but these sights are rough to look through. I don't think shooting accurate with a pistol was ever a concept back then. If you want, look right down this so they can see how little these sights are. Of course, you want to be able to look down a barrel and shoot well, but I mean, this was really more of just a reflexive weapon. Something I'll say about it, I think they did absolutely right. This fits the contour of your hand perfectly. You know, so when you're looking at this thing, the way it fits the contour of your hand, it kind of has a natural point of aim. That's why we can actually hit a man-sized torso, no problem. Are you going to go out and shoot bottle caps with it? Probably not. But that's not what it was designed to do. And you can see this thing being built in 1916, functioning flawlessly. Of course, we didn't load the mag to its full capacity. I believe they hold 10. But we just did 6. I don't want to push this thing, you know what I mean? And it is neat to be able to come out here and shoot it. And just what a neat piece of history. And come on, zoom up here, Mr. Obvious, and I want to show it's got all the proof marks and everything. I guess these are inspection marks that each person, and I had looked this stuff up in the past, and you can get relatively close to when this thing was built and everything else. Just they documented everything so well on these. But yeah, I think just what a neat piece of history. Like you said, the trigger's a little spongy. Actually, if you zoom in here again, you can see there's a spring directly behind the trigger. I don't know if you can see that. Here, let me get my hand out the way and get light behind it. And you can see there's a spring back there, and that's your return.
Yeah. Huh.
So, yeah, these, it's different, you know, it's a neat thing. These weren't, from what I have read, weren't the most reliable pistol ever made. They were kind of finicky when it came to getting dirty and things like that, which is why the Germans went away from it. I think it was like 1938, supposedly, is when they went away from it. But I think this was still the preferred weapon by a lot of officers. All right, so we're about 4 paces away from these here water jugs, just to show you how amazingly powerful the 9mm is. Can suck a lung clean out your body, okay? So we're going to show that. Let's see what it does to these water jugs.
Let's see what happens.
If I hit them at 4 paces, Mr. Obvious. All right, here we go.
Take your time. Shoot a little higher.
Huh. What about that? Here. What about that? Let's see what it did to those water jugs. So you can see that crazy 9mm round at point blank range. I hit at the top there. You can see how powerful that is.
Is that the lung running out?
That it must be. It takes it a while to suck out of there.
Oh,
but it
okay.
comes out. And then this one I hit right at the bottom. I aimed low, and it actually diverted. The round actually went in and shot through the bottom. So yeah. I don't know about sucking a lung out, but
Maybe you should have popped 3 more rounds in it. And see.
You know what? If I would have rapid fired at him, I think I could have done more damage. But that's why the Nazis lost that war.
I think so.
And representing America, Mr. Obvious is going to do the same thing with the 45. And let's see if that'll suck a lung out. Let's see what happens here, Mr. Obvious. And at the end of the day, what do we have here, Mr. Obvious? They're still just handgun rounds. Oh, this one did a lot more damage, though. Look at that.
Look at the back.
Yeah.
Lung might have come out that hole there.
I mean, this isn't scientific, but I mean, what say you at home? The answers? Please comment below on which one you'd rather shoot a water bottle with. And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
Well, I think we got to report a good gun, good shooter, works flawlessly still this day, and it's a sweet old gun now.
She's a good specimen. I mean, just a good representation of what was there, and you know, still to this day, it's never had a malfunction with us since I've been shooting it. So that's pretty cool. Of course, we don't get out and really put it through its paces, nor would I. We were shooting PMC ammunition out of this today. And of course, everything we do here is in jest. So yeah, we weren't expecting this to blow up a water bottle. We kind of knew that. And same with the 45. They are handgun loads. You know, I mean, a handgun is not a 30-06. Yeah. Like some people in our government tend to think this 9mm is some crazy, crazy powerful weapon. It'll kill you for sure. It'll punch a hole in you. I wouldn't want to be hit by it, but at the end of the day, these are designed to get you to your primary weapon, which is a rifle, shotgun, something of that effect. Yeah. So,
you know, what's kind of interesting is the technology people had back then to be able to design something.
Like this. Yeah, 1898.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot more machining going into this than, like, you know, some of the modern day guns. The
tolerances on this are radically tight, and that's actually really amazing. I mean, and it does. Speaking to what you're talking about there, Mr. Obvious, is it's quite evident in the construction of it.
Yeah, look at all the. Some people call this a grasshopper action.
Yeah,
and I mean, compare that to like even the simple made Glock.
Yep.
I mean, look at the workmanship that's in this gun that they done years ago, a machine and actually.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've taken this apart and really cleaned it like 3 times, and I don't like doing it. For me, it's complicated. A 1911, I can pop that thing apart in seconds. My Beretta M9 that I had overseas or in the military is very, very easy to strip down and field strip and take apart. This is a lot more finicky, and I don't like, and it's an heirloom, so I'm a little funny about it. I don't want to damage it in any way, so it's just one of those things. I try to keep it preserved the way it was.
It's a safe clean.
That's really what it is. I take it out, like I said, about 3 times a year and oil it. Just make sure it's not rusted up or anything. And it's actually, I'd say the finish is pretty decent on it, 75-80% finish. And but yeah, for something that Grandpa actually used, and he did use it quite a bit. He liked to carry this thing and shoot it. And so there's that. The holster is all original. This is the original holster. I don't know if I mentioned that, but everything about this firearm is original. And I treat the leather with ballistol, which is probably something similar to what they had, if not exactly what they had at this time. But yeah, is there anything else we want to add to this?
Well, just the type of ammunition we shot today. Just something I had laying around. It's been laying around a while, so we just shot this out of it.
And I've got some original rounds from World War II that will never be fired. And but I wager they're probably equivalent to a target load today. So the results that you're seeing with the impact on these bullets, probably exactly what they were getting out of them in World War II. I mean, it's like I always say, an awful lot of Nazis were brought down with a 45.
Yeah.
So, that being said, unfortunately, a lot of Americans were brought down with a 9mm. So, it's not saying that it's a weak round at all. It's just realize what you have. It's a handgun.
Now, the 45, we shot just ball ammo.
That's all we shoot. Yeah.
Just like we did out of the 9. So you can look at the 9 and what we shot today. And that's the 45.
It's not a 9mm versus 45 comparison. It's just showing you it doesn't matter which one you have. They're both just handgun loads.
What it done to the water jug.
So again, comment below. Let us know which one you'd prefer to shoot a water jug with. And with that, everybody, have fun this 4th of July. God bless America. And remember, keep your knife sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man, and be careful with your fireworks.